Seaworld Orlando, located in Orlando, Florida, is one of my favorite theme parks out there. With its amazing coasters, top-notch theming, and of course awesome animals, it is no surprise that this park is one of Florida's greatest. When this park was first created, it was established as a zoological experience for the entire family, a place where you could see some quality shows and learn all about sea creatures. However, within the last couple of years, it seems like the park is moving further away from its original vision. Lately, the park has been focusing less on the animals and more on the rides. Adding new animal attractions are becoming more rare, and adding new ride additions are becoming way more frequent. Within the past decade, SeaWorld has been heavily investing in large-scale thrill rides such as coasters. SeaWorld is establishing itself as Orlando's coaster empire, with them having some of the greatest and most unique coasters around. This park has been getting a super large amount of press lately, with many rumors starting to circulate about the future, including rumors about the surf coaster, possible flat rides, and even a possible expansion. So in this video, I'm going to be diving deep into SeaWorld Orlando's future, or more specifically their next 5 years. I will not only be giving you my prediction on their future attractions, but I will also be looking at the future of this park as a whole. So join me as in this video we discuss what the future of SeaWorld Orlando is actually going to be. But like always, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I post brand new videos just like this every week, and I really appreciate all of the wonderful support that this channel has been getting. But now let's get to the video. As with all of my 5-year plans, I'm going to start off with 2021, and obviously this one is super easy. SeaWorld Orlando has already confirmed that the 2020 edition of Icebreaker will indeed be pushed back until 2021. At this point, we don't even really have to wait that long until we actually get to ride this thing. I think SeaWorld will probably decide to open up Icebreaker relatively early in the season, as in most likely in March or early April. So for the 2021 edition, they are obviously getting Icebreaker, there's no question about it. However, 2022 isn't as easy to predict. As many of you already know, for 2022, SeaWorld is heavily rumored to be getting yet again another coaster. And unlike Icebreaker, we don't know much about this attraction. The coaster I'm talking about is the legendary B&M Surf Coaster. If you aren't too familiar with the surf coaster, it is basically a brand new coaster type from B&M. And like I said, we don't know much about this ride except for a few main things. First off is that this coaster was designed custom for SeaWorld Orlando, and second is whatever this coaster is, it will definitely feature a launch and be fairly thrilling. On top of this, SeaWorld has already received several shipments of B&M track, so it looks like that this coaster is on track for an early 2022 opening. As for what the B&M Surf Coaster actually is, we don't know, but so far there are two main theories. The first theory is that it's B&M's take on a full-fledged launch coaster. And the second theory is that it's B&M's take on a new and improved stand-up coaster. If you want to know more about the B&M Surf Coaster, I've made several videos on it and you can check them out if you're interested. Regardless of whatever it turned out to be, I think it is very likely that we will see the B&M Surf Coaster in 2022. So that takes us to 2023, and in 2023, I predict that they will add some type of flat ride. SeaWorld Orlando actually doesn't have very many flat rides, so adding a good thrilling flat ride would work very well. As for the type of flat ride, I'd say almost everything is on the table. But if I had to take a guess, I would say that they could get a Zamperla Discovery Pendulum ride or Zamperla's new Nebula ride. I think in the future, SeaWorld will start working more with Zamperla, and these rides would fit the park perfectly. So this will take us to 2024, and in 2024, I think that there is only one type of ride that they will get, and this is an upgraded dark ride. Now, you may be asking yourself, why in the world would SeaWorld get yet again another dark ride? Well, let me tell you. I think it is actually very likely for one main reason. Currently, the park has two dark rides, Wild Arctic and Empire of the Penguin. However, both of these attractions have been closed recently and their fate looks rather uncertain. Wild Arctic is kind of outdated and it has been rumored to be leaving the park for a very long time, so I'm fairly confident that this ride is leaving ASAP. But what about Empire of the Penguin? Well, even though Empire of the Penguin is better received than Wild Arctic, it is still not perfect. I personally have not ridden it, but I hear that it's kind of underwhelming. So what I think SeaWorld is actually going to do is I think that they are going to get rid of Wild Arctic completely and fully redo Empire of the Penguin. With an Empire of the Penguin upgrade, I would expect to see some enhanced theming, upgraded effects, and possibly a whole new storyline and theme altogether. Basically, the possibilities of this upgrade are endless, and actually this prediction I'm fairly confident about. So that will take us to 2025, and in 2025 I predict that they will finally add a brand new coaster. The current pattern with SeaWorld Entertainment is that they add a new coaster every 3 years. Thus, 2025 would be 3 years since the B&M Surf Coaster and could be the year when we finally see another coaster. As for the type of coaster, I think that there are a bunch of possibilities, including a Mack Extreme Spinner, a B&M Wing Coaster, and even some type of next generation Vekoma. However, for this video, I'm simply going to go with the Wing Coaster. Now, before you think I'm crazy, let me explain. The Wing Coaster would fit perfectly at SeaWorld Orlando because it would add to the park's stellar collection of B&Ms, as well as it would also provide a completely different ride experience to parkgoers. As of now, there are no Wing Coasters in the state of Florida, so I'm pretty sure it would be extremely well received. The only caveat would be if the B&M Surf Coaster actually turns out to be something similar to a Wing Coaster, then obviously the Wing Coaster is out of the question. Now you may be saying to yourself that 2025 would be way too soon to add such a major investment like a brand new coaster, especially right after the B&M Surf Coaster. But let me just tell you why I think it's not just possible but actually necessary. You see, Orlando has always been a super competitive place for theme parks. You have Disney, SeaWorld, and Universal only a few miles away from each other. Most of the time, when one park adds a brand new attraction, these other parks have to do something to keep new people coming to the parks. This usually is in the form of a brand new coaster or thrill ride. But because Orlando is a huge tourist area, this isn't life or death. I mean, people will always go to Disney even if they don't add new rides, but nevertheless, it is still a decently big deal and definitely has an impact on the parks. So why am I telling you this? Well, around 2024, something is going to happen that will completely change Orlando forever. You can probably guess what I'm referring to, but if you can't, I'm talking about the addition of Epic Universe. Epic Universe is Universal's brand new theme park debuting sometime between 2023 and 2024. I think the addition of this brand new theme park will definitely put pressure on SeaWorld Orlando to make a major investment such as a big B&M Wing Coaster. But that's just a theory. So to recap, here's what I think the next 5 years will look like at SeaWorld Orlando. 2021 brings the addition of Icebreaker, 2022 the B&M Surf Coaster, 2023 a brand new flat ride, 2024 a revamped Empire of the Penguin, and 2025 some type of huge new coaster such as the B&M Wing Coaster. Now that is what I think is actually going to happen within the next 5 years. However, it's not necessarily what I want to happen. In fact, if I owned SeaWorld Orlando, the future would most likely look very different. Yes, this is the part of the video that I've been waiting for. This is where I'm going to tell you what changes I would make to the park if I was in charge. And obviously this is pure fantasy, but here's what I would do if I owned SeaWorld Orlando. The first thing that I would do if I was in charge of SeaWorld Orlando would be to find a replacement for Wild Arctic. Because this park is in the heart of Florida, I think it's very important that it has as many indoor attractions as possible. So I would make finding a replacement a priority. Now this replacement wouldn't necessarily have to go in the same exact location as Wild Arctic currently is, but it would be nice if it could pay homage to the original ride. As for the ride itself, I think there's a lot to choose from. One option would be something along the lines of a dynamic attraction high capacity motion theater. This ride could be a mix between a ride and a show, and it could be themed to practically anything. In my opinion, a ride like this would take SeaWorld into the next level of theme park. Now, I'm pretty sure in real life SeaWorld would never go for this, but just think of how cool it would be if SeaWorld got a state-of-the-art motion theater themed to the Arctic. The second thing that I would do if I was in charge of SeaWorld Orlando would be to simply add more flat rides. Like I mentioned earlier, this park is heavily lacking any type of large-scale flat ride outside of Sesame Street. I mean, SeaWorld Orlando doesn't even have a basic wave swinger or scrambler ride. So if I was in charge, I would make it a priority to fix this issue. And actually, that's about it. It may come as a surprise to you, but I honestly can't think of anything else that I would add to the park if I was in charge. Usually, I like to come up with a minimum of 3 ideas per video, but I can't really think of anything else. Maybe you can let me know your ideas in the comments below. But SeaWorld is such an amazing, well-rounded park that they almost seem to be doing everything right. It almost seems like anything else would be excessive. So to conclude, SeaWorld Orlando is an amazing park that I encourage all of you to visit. I know I say this every single video, but the future of SeaWorld Orlando is looking really bright, and it honestly wouldn't surprise me if this park becomes a much larger competitor in the next decade to come. So if I were you, I'd keep an eye on SeaWorld Orlando because who knows what they have up their sleeve next. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see content just like this every single week, and comment below your thoughts on SeaWorld Orlando. What do you think the future is going to be? This is the Coaster Josh signing out.